If you think last winter was rough, wait until you see what's coming. The next grid failure might not last hours, it could last weeks. Imagine this. It's January 2026. The temperature drops to -20. Your heater clicks off. The power grid's overloaded. Your pipes freeze. Your phone battery dies. And in that silence, you realize you were never as prepared as you thought. But here's the kicker. While most Americans panic, there's one group that keeps calm, warm, and fed every single winter. The Amish. They've lived off-grid for generations. No electric heat, no supermarkets, no online orders. And in this video, you're going to learn 13 Amish prepping secrets that can keep your family alive and comfortable during a long winter blackout. Stay with me till the end, because these aren't your typical blanket and flashlight tips. Some of these are ancient. Others you won't find in any store once panic starts. Hey folks, I'm Davis, a longtime prepper, survivalist, and former military logistician who's been preparing for over 15 years. I've lived through economic instability, blackouts, and the 2021 supply chain freeze that left millions scrambling for essentials. And if you're here, you probably sense what's coming too. Energy prices are climbing, food shortages are becoming headlines again, and the U.S. grid has already shown how fragile it really is. In this video, we'll cover the 13 lesser-known Amish prepping items that will make or break your survival during a winter outage. Affordable ways to get or build each one. How the Amish survive without modern tech, and how you can apply those lessons before 2026 hits. Thousands of smart preppers are already adapting Amish strategies because when the grid fails, electricity becomes a luxury, not a guarantee. So grab a notepad because every item in this list can mean the difference between comfort and crisis. I started studying the Amish way of life after the Texas freeze of 2021. Millions lost power. People burned furniture for warmth. Meanwhile, Amish families in the same states went about their routines, stoking wood stoves, grinding grain, cooking hot meals like nothing happened. That woke me up. Since then, I've spent time visiting Amish settlements in Pennsylvania and Ohio, learning how they build, heat, and feed their families without ever flipping a switch. And what I discovered changed my entire prepping philosophy. That's why today I'm sharing these 13 must-have Amish prepping items, the same ones that could help you survive a winter power outage in 2026. Item 1. Cast iron wood-burning stove. Let's start with the cornerstone of Amish winter survival, the cast iron wood-burning stove. When the grid collapses, this isn't just a heater, it's your lifeline. It warms your home, boils your water, cooks your meals, dries your clothes, and even sterilizes your medical tools if needed. The Amish don't rely on propane or electric heaters. They rely on half-mass, solid metal that radiates warmth for hours after the fire dies. Picture this. Your modern furnace is silent. The thermostat reads 38 degrees Fahrenheit, but your Amish-style stove glows orange in the corner, spreading thick, dry heat through the house. Install a quality wood stove with a double-walled chimney pipe and heat-safe floor pad. Season your wood in summer. Dry logs burn longer, cleaner, and safer. A refurbished cast-iron stove from a salvage yard or Craigslist can work wonders. Just clean it, replace the gaskets, and you've got a 100-year-old tool ready for another century. Keep a metal kettle of water on top of your stove. It adds humidity to the air and doubles as your backup humidifier. And remember, wood isn't just fuel, it's independence. Item 2. Hand crank grain mill and bulk grain storage. Now, food. If grocery trucks stop, flour disappears in days. The Amish never rely on prepackaged bread. They grind grain fresh every day.
using a hand-crank grain mill. When power's gone and shelves are empty, whole wheat or barley in a sealed barrel becomes gold. With a hand mill, you can turn raw grain into bread, pancakes, or porridge forever. No electricity, no expiration. Buy a durable, all-metal hand mill, no plastic gears. Store 100 to 200 pounds of grain in airtight buckets with oxygen absorbers. Pick up a used mill or make your own using a bike crank and gear system. I've seen Amish teens do it for fun. Store both hard red wheat for hearty bread and soft white for pastries. Grain lasts decades if stored right. Flour spoils in months. When inflation hits food prices again, this setup isn't just survival, it's profit. Item 3. Mason jars and root cellar storage. Next, preservation. Amish families don't own freezers. They use mason jars and root cellars to store months of food at stable temperatures. During a blackout, this system is pure genius. No spoiled meat, no rotting produce, just shelves lined with shining jars of stew, pickles, and fruit preserved in syrup. Even if you don't have a real cellar, you can mimic one. Use your basement or an insulated garage. Stack jars on wooden racks, not directly on concrete, and keep temps between 35 and 50 degrees F. Recycled jars work fine. Just replace the lids and rings yearly. Store root vegetables like carrots, beets, and potatoes in sand-filled bins. It slows decay and keeps them fresh for months. If you've ever opened your fridge during an outage and smelled that sour rot, you'll understand why the Amish never needed one. Item 4. Oil lamps and lamp oil supply. Light is more psychological than people realize. When your home goes dark, fear creeps in. The Amish mastered this problem with something simple: the oil lamp. Kerosene or lamp oil burns slow, clean, and bright enough for a family dinner or Bible reading. Unlike flashlights, they don't die after 10 hours. Unlike candles, they're safer, reusable, and brighter. Buy 2 or 3 quality glass oil lamps. Stock at least 3 gallons of indoor-safe lamp oil and a dozen spare wicks. Use filtered vegetable oil in an emergency. It works, though it smokes more. Clean soot buildup every few days, and keep lamps near mirrors or reflective plates to double the light. During an outage, light equals morale, and morale equals survival. Item 5. Foot treadle sewing machine and repair kit. Here's something few preppers talk about: the ability to repair what you already own. Amish households sew everything by hand or on old treadle machines powered by foot pedals. When clothing tears, when tents rip, when blankets unravel, they fix it on the spot. No electricity, no Amazon replacements. In a long-term outage, clothes, bags, and canvas wear out fast. Having sewing skills keeps your gear functional indefinitely. Find a vintage Singer treadle machine. They're built like tanks. Keep heavy-duty thread, denim needles, and fabric patches. If you can sew a straight seam, you can fix a jacket, tarp, or sleeping bag in minutes. Used machines sell cheap at thrift stores. Even hand-crank models work. Learn to sew leather. It's one of the most barterable skills in a collapse scenario. When everyone else's gear starts falling apart, you'll be the one still equipped and trading repairs for food or fuel. Item 6. Manual well pump and insulated water storage. Water, the first resource to vanish when the grid fails. Modern homes depend on electric pumps. The Amish don't. They use manual well pumps, simple, frost-proof, hand-operated systems that pull clean groundwater anytime. During a winter outage, city taps may freeze or lose pressure, but an Amish-style pump keeps running, powered by your own strength. If you have a private well, add a manual pump conversion kit. For city water users, store 50 to 100 gallons in food-grade barrels in a cool basement. Use a gravity-fed system. Stack 2 barrels, fill the top one, and let it flow into the lower one through a hose. Wrap outdoor pipes in foam insulation or heating tape long before the first freeze, and purify your stored water every few months with a small drop of bleach or purification tablets. When neighbors start melting snow to survive, you'll still have clear, drinkable water ready to go. This is where it starts getting real, because as I record this, energy analysts are warning that the U.S. grid is at its most fragile point in over a decade. We're consuming more electricity than ever, but investing less in generation. More people, fewer resources, and a colder winter ahead. This isn't fear, it's fact, and those who act early are the ones who make it through comfortably. So stay with me, because item number 7 might be what keeps you from freezing when everything else fails. If you're finding this valuable so far, hit that like button. It helps the channel reach more preppers just like you. And don't forget to subscribe, because next week's video will reveal 10 Amish heating tricks that can cut your winter fuel use by half. Now, back to our list. Item 7. Wool quilts and layered bedding system. Let's talk about warmth, the human kind. Amish families know that survival starts with insulation, not electricity. They rely on wool quilts and layered bedding, hand-sewn, thick, and built to trap heat naturally. During a blackout, the average home temperature can plummet to freezing overnight. But layered wool blankets create microclimates, small pockets of warm air that keep your body temperature stable. Start with flannel sheets, then layer wool blankets and a quilt on top. Sleep close together in one room. Body heat multiplies warmth. Thrift store wool blankets are just as effective as high-end gear. Wash, mend, and store them in airtight bags. Designate one heat room. Close all vents, hang blankets over doors, and seal windows. That room becomes your warm bunker. During the 2021 Texas freeze, I tested this. The outside was 15 degrees Fahrenheit, but inside that one room, it stayed above 50 without a single watt of power. Item 8. Non-electric kitchen tools. If you've ever tried cooking without electricity, you know how hard it is. The Amish kitchen solves that. Store a gallon or two of kerosene and a manual siphon pump for emergency vehicle refills. But one rule, everything must work without a plug. That means hand crank mixers, manual meat grinders, and cast iron cookware that can go from stove to open flame without breaking. When the grid's down, cooking becomes a survival skill, not a convenience. And eating hot food in a frozen world is one of the biggest morale boosters you can get. Collect non-electric tools now. A manual egg beater, potato masher, rolling pin, and a sturdy butcher's knife. Check flea markets or Amish stores. They're loaded with manual tools that'll outlast modern appliances. Learn to cook over cast iron on a wood stove. It's a different technique, but once you get it, you'll never go back. You don't need a generator to cook. You just need the right tools and the mindset to use them. Item 10. Dutch oven and heat retention cooking. The Amish families are masters of thermal efficiency. They've perfected the art of using one fire for multiple purposes: heating, cooking, drying, and baking. Their secret weapon? The Dutch oven. A heavy, cast-iron pot with a tight lid, it locks in heat for hours, letting you slow-cook stews, bake bread, or roast meats long after the fire fades. During a blackout, every stick of wood counts. The Dutch oven stretches your fuel farther, cooks evenly, and retains nutrients that modern cooking often destroys. Get a 5 to 7 quart Dutch oven with a flat lid, perfect for coals or wood stove tops. Keep it seasoned with oil and it'll last generations. Used Dutch ovens are common at estate sales. Even a rusty one can be restored with a little elbow grease and vinegar soak. Once food is hot, bury the pot in blankets or hay to finish cooking using retained heat. It's the same method Amish women use during blizzards when firewood is scarce. In a world without microwaves, this simple pot becomes your slow cooker, oven, and fuel saver, all in one. Item 11. Homemade candles and tallow storage. Light is survival, and the Amish never rely on batteries. Their backup for oil lamps? Homemade candles, made from tallow, animal fat, or beeswax. Candles are not just for light. They're barter items, morale boosters, and can even provide slight warmth in small rooms. Render animal fat from beef or lamb to create tallow. Pour it into molds with a cotton wick and let it harden. Beeswax is even better. It burns longer, cleaner, and smells pleasant. Save candle ends, melt them down, and remold them into new ones. Nothing is wasted in Amish homes. Store tallow in sealed jars in a cool place. It lasts indefinitely. During food shortages, it can even be used in cooking in emergencies. When power's gone and darkness rules the night, a simple candle flame means more than light. It means hope, warmth, and the will to endure. Item 12. Animal-powered transport and sledge hauling. While modern life depends on cars and fuel, the Amish rely on pure muscle, both human and animal. When ice covers roads and gas pumps shut down, horse-drawn buggies and sledges still move supplies, wood, and people safely. For most of us, keeping a horse isn't realistic, but the principle still applies. Low-tech transport that works when engines fail. Keep a rugged handcart, wheelbarrow, or garden wagon. For snow, get a plastic or wooden sled. It's perfect for hauling heavy loads over ice without fuel. Build your own sled using pallets or scrap lumber. Amish kids use homemade sledges for hauling logs and firewood daily. Store a gallon or two of kerosene and a manual siphon pump for emergency vehicle refills, but never depend solely on gas, because when the last gallon's gone, the one with the sled still moves forward. Item 13. Bible, community, and faith. Now here's the most overlooked but powerful survival tool of all: faith and community. During every storm, every outage, every disaster, the Amish thrive not because they have more gear, but because they have more unity. They share resources. They work together. They help their neighbors without question. You can have the best stove, the biggest stockpile, or the strongest generator, but if you're isolated and panicked, your survival odds drop. Faith keeps the Amish grounded. It gives them calm in chaos, purpose in struggle, and gratitude in scarcity. Build your small community now. Connect with neighbors, join local prepping groups, trade skills, and check on the elderly when storms hit, because no man survives long alone. When everything else fails, faith and fellowship will carry you farther than any gadget ever could. Before we wrap up, here's one bonus survival trick straight from an old Amish homestead I visited in Ohio. They called it the heat core. It's not a machine, it's a strategy. In deep winter, the Amish move all essential living into one central room. The kitchen becomes the home's heart, stove burning, food cooking, people gathered. Every wall is insulated with quilts, hay bales, or even furniture. The rest of the house is closed off to conserve energy. This creates a heat core, one warm zone in a frozen house. If a blackout hits, pick one insulated room. Move bedding, food, and lighting there. Keep doors sealed with blankets. Run your wood stove or propane heater in that space only. You reduce heat loss by 80%. The Amish have used this trick for over a century, and it's why their families stay warm even when temperatures hit minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit. When others are burning through firewood and fuel, you'll be cozy using a fraction of the energy. Now listen closely. The 2026 energy forecast isn't promising. Experts are already warning about rolling blackouts, fuel rationing, and grid instability across multiple states. You've seen the signs. Fuel prices spiking, winter storms knocking out power grids for days, grocery prices rising every month. This isn't just another cold season coming, it's a stress test for every unprepared home in America. While others wait for government help that may never come, you'll already have the tools, the knowledge, and the mindset of the Amish, a people who never relied on the grid in the first place. But here's the truth. Prepping isn't just about storing things, it's about changing how you live before you're forced to. Let's recap quickly. Here are your 13 must-have Amish prepping items for a winter power outage. 1. Cast iron wood-burning stove, your heat and cooking lifeline. 2. Hand crank grain mill and bulk grains, endless food independence. 3. Mason jars and root cellar storage for long-term preservation without freezing. 4. Oil lamps and lamp oil, safe, lasting light in darkness. 5. Foot treadle sewing machine, repair anything, anytime. 6. Manual well pump and water storage, independence from the city grid. 7. Wool quilts and layered bedding, natural insulation for bitter nights. 8. Non-electric kitchen tools, cook anywhere, anytime. 9. Wood ash and homemade soap supplies, hygiene when stores are empty. 10. Dutch oven and heat retention cooking, efficient meals, zero waste. 11. Animal-powered or manual transport, mobility without fuel. 12. Bible, community, and faith, the foundation of endurance. And don't forget the heat core method, the bonus trick that keeps homes warm when every modern system fails. Now that you know how the Amish survive the darkest winters, what will you do before 2026 hits? Will you wait until the lights go out to prepare? Or will you start today while you still have time, warmth, and options? If this video helped you think differently about survival, give it a thumbs up. It tells the algorithm this message matters. And subscribe, because in next week's episode, we're breaking down 10 forgotten Amish tools that work better than modern tech, and you won't want to miss it.